SG Reads.
Hello fellow travelers, my name's SG and welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to go over an independent comic this time. This one really caught my attention. I read it and thought it was very interesting, very fun, and had a lot of promise for future development. This is just going to be issue 1. I will leave a link down below where you can find the other issues and even help support the creators and authors in different ways if you can. So, without further ado, let's get started with Kaiju Blues. Thanks again for watching. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe down below, and please, if you enjoy this content, go support the original creators by purchasing the book, or, as I said before, finding ways to help support them in their future endeavors. Kaiju Blues was released by House of Blood Comics, and was written by Zach Chapman, art by Ty Peterson, and colors by Brad Clayton. They all come with their A-game in this book. Please do go check them out when you can, and look for them in various other works. I do know Zach Chapman has a series of horror comics that he does out, such as the anthology series, House of Blood, of the same name of the company. So please do go check it out, go have a good time if you enjoy horror, or like I said, if you enjoy a good Godzilla comic with a hint of Invincible in there, you can definitely read Kaiju Blues. It's definitely interesting, and we're about to get right into the story. 25 to 35 years before the events of the main story happens, there are portals around the world that have been opening up, releasing creatures from another dimension. These creatures are giants known as kaijus to the main public. Now these all expand from the idea of giant lizards or just giant beings that just wreak havoc across the world itself. But then one day a hero came out, a hero that the people have known as Revman. Revman was able to have the same height and or strength of these kaijus and was able to fight back the invasions. As time went on, he became one of the sole heroes of this world, and maybe even breaching off into other heroes as well. From that point we don't really know, but we do know that he did gain a partner later on, known as Rev Girl, who acted more as a sidekick to him, with the same abilities of super strength and increased height. Now in the present day, we see that Revman and Rev Girl have been fighting the kaijus for up to a very long point at this point, where Josh has been continuing on with this conversation, Josh being our main protagonist, that is. Now it's been revealed that Josh is the son of Revman and brother to Rev Girl themselves. But unbeknownst to him that this very day would be the last day Revman and Rev Girl would be able to keep up the fight of the kaijus. After being killed by the kaijus, they then hold a ceremony and funeral, with the kaijus appearing to have suddenly left after that decided victory on their end. Now Josh has to reconcile with his differences of his family, considering his past with them is not always that great, and that he has pushed everyone that he has known and loved away from him as well, while at the same time being the inheritor of Revman's abilities, costumes, and what is the task that he has been given, which is to fight these kaijus as best he can, with the powers given to him. Now that was just a brief rundown on my end of what the main story of Book 1 was able to give. Please do give it a grain of salt, if you will. I may not have said it exactly to the T, but I do recommend going to read the book yourself. It's very good, very interesting. Does have a dash of Invincible with a Godzilla vibe to it. So like I said, please do go check it out. It's very much worth the read. And this is only book 1 of a 5-part series that he's going to put out. Please do go check out the main thing on their Kickstarter, so I'll leave a link down below. You can even see their other works on YouTube, on Amazon and Kindle Unlimited. I'm not sure if Kaiju Blues has been released just yet, but it will be a matter of time. Alright, with that being said, let's move on to characters, shall we? Now our main protagonist for the story is going to be Josh. Josh is the son of Revman and brother to Rev Girl. He is the main, I guess, inheritor of their abilities and powers, and for the most part, he seems unwilling to do this. He has an air of cynicism and a darker outlook on life. Not only that, it seems that he has pushed everyone that he's ever known and loved away, suggesting that he's caused rifts in his own friendship groups. He has pushed away from family because he felt they didn't understand him, and at this point has made himself destitute to everything and everyone around him. So much so that he's willing to just take whatever he can get and pretty much do whatever he wants. But as the story will progress, that's what makes him an interesting character overall, I like to think. Because this is showing our character at the very bottom of the list at this point, the very drudge of everything, and that this is him either going to learn to be more than anything he can be, or become something worse than anybody ever thought he would be. So this is where I think this kind of protagonist really does work. He is interesting, he is kind of witty, and I do think that this unwanting of wanting to take on the legacy of Revman does come from somewhere of a trauma, if you will. A trauma that may be related to his family, or maybe even just me related to him. Because, as we know, Rev Girl might be his younger sister, meaning they may have gotten these abilities at a younger age, such as at teenage years. So, for the most part, there is a lot to be said with Josh. And while I can't wait to see the story progression with him personally, and with this world as a whole, I think the main attributes of him interacting with those around him will come into the main story overall. And I do have some theories on why he is so cynical about the world around him and about his family. But for now, let's continue on with our next story, shall we? The artwork by Ty Peterson is very interesting, very fun to look at, does have a very interesting detailing to it, making it feel like a Godzilla comic mixed with an Invincible comic, like I said before. It really does give this vibe of a mix of the two, giving details to characters that we wouldn't expect, while at the same time having these creatures, these monsters, look as menacing and as terrifying as possible. And the coloring by Brad Clayton does offer this pop to it, does give it a sense of vibrancy and different look at the world around it. It does give it life, if you will. Allows it to be expressive, not letting it be dull or colorless like we do see in some of these other materials, but giving it the vibrancy of we see of an Invincible comic does add to a tone that does get you hyped up to see more down the line. And we see the way that the characters are designed and kind of laid out, definitely by Zach Chapman himself, being one of the directors behind it. You could definitely see that they are very detailed and very much in line with the references they're making, such as Ultraman or Power Rangers. Along those lines, giving it a new and different vibe, while at the same time being respectful to the original sources that they may have been inspired by, such, like I said, using these Power Ranger styles or Ultraman views as we see it. The writing and layout of the book is very well done. I do like it catches your attention. It doesn't keep you bored throughout the book. It keeps going on with a pacing that I find very enjoyable and does lead to a smooth storytelling experience, if you will. And we don't really know where the storyline's going, but we're not exactly getting trailed off in any sense of that word. And we are kept interested by the character himself. Seeing at him at his lowest point does add more of a cynical look at the world, offering a different kind of vibe than we get from most hero comics and most independents, as we know. So this does offer a new way of looking at a comic, if you will, while at the same time feeling traditional and having a smooth progression throughout the story, if you will. That's the best way I can summarize it, saying that it doesn't go off track, it keeps to its main story and its main point, while at the same time letting us know what the characters are about, what their main personalities are, and what will later on probably be the main points that will be shown throughout the rest of the series. Now, this is the part where I make speculation on why certain characters act certain ways and what might be coming along the way. Now, just remember, these are just my theories about what's going to come. This does not mean that this is definitely going to happen, and if it doesn't happen, I'm not going to be hurt, nor will I be offended. In fact, I kind of want to see something new and unique coming out of it, but it doesn't hurt to have fun, theorize a little bit, and to just pitch some ideas, yeah? So, now our main character Josh, of course. He seems to have a distaste for Rev Man's hero persona, period. Or a distaste for his dad, period. Now, from when we look at a flashback of that, it doesn't seem like it was always like that to begin with. It seems in the flashback where they do seem to be fighting with one another, there does seem to be a closeness still there, but not quite that cynicism just yet. So that leads me to believe that his hate is not with his dad, much more the Rev Man persona. So, with that being said, what happened to make him kind of hate that persona, and to an extent, everything about it? My thing is that maybe at one point, Josh was Rev Man already. Not saying that at the beginning end of this book that he does become him, and that's new to him, because we do show that he is fighting it, he does not want to be it, and that he knows what's happening and doesn't like it at all. So that tells me that maybe at some point, Josh was supposed to replace Rev Man already. Along with his sister as Rev Girl, they were going to take up the mantle and be heroes in his stead. But maybe something happened. Maybe during a fight, Josh messed up at some point, or freaked out, or it just felt he was too in over his head over the whole thing, and ended up doing something very bad. Now, I will say that we did not see the mom, which could also be a very big point in the storyline. Maybe it's because of the hero persona that the mom left, and Josh blames the hero persona for being the thing that separated his family. That could also be it. That could also be a very real world and very simple explanation for it. And I'd be okay with that explanation too. But I would like to see a little bit more down the line of what could be the main reason Josh sees the world as this big cynical object, and why he's so dead set on pushing people aside. Because the way he pushes people aside feels like he's more going through his own self-exile. Like he himself blames himself for something happening to somebody else. But as the story will go on, we'll have to see how that goes and see how it plays out. But for right now, it's just fun to speculate and to see what's going to happen later on. All in all, this was a really great book. I do like the way it started. It definitely does have its elements that are going to be increased as we go on. The characters are very interesting. It's a very fun take on the superhero trope, while at the same time being a very fun take on the Godzilla trope as we know it. So I do see a lot of good things coming out of this book. And the creators themselves have worked on a lot of projects themselves. If you want to check them out, you can go on Kindle Unlimited, see House of Blood, their horror comics, if you will. And you can also go to Kickstarter, check out their 2 release books, this one along with the book 2 coming out. And you know they're working on 3, 4, and 5 as well. So if you want to, go support them that way. I'll leave links down below if you guys want to help them out. And also to their Facebooks. Thanks again for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please go check out the main sources. And can't wait to see you guys next time. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe if you like this. I'm going to be doing more independence in the coming weeks. And hope you guys enjoy that. And can't wait to see you guys next time. See you again, and have a great one.